So we're on.
It's Shut the F Up Friday.
It is
Actually,
Shut the
it's Shut the F Up Friday.
Now, have you heard the jingle?
I have not heard the jingle.
It's Shut the Fuck Up Friday. Shut the fuck up now. Shut the fuck up Friday. Show your friends and family how to shut the fuck up when cops ask questions. We're the Pot Brothers at Law.
I got the juice like a snow cone. Ice in my veins and a cold flow. I'm getting cash overseas by the boatload. You wanna ride my wave? That's a no-go.
And then there's the sound of a bong at the end of it.
Did you write that?
I sure did.
I want to know how you started, what made you decide to go to law school, and specifically I'm going to find out with you how you kind of incorporated this magnificent combo of cannabis and practicing law.
The short story, otherwise we'll be here a long time.
We got all day. Tell why you went to law school.
The short story for me is I couldn't do anything else. I was horrible at math, hated science, biology, chemistry, hated that shit. And I liked political science. I ended up, going to school, going to college, and know what I wanted to do. Then I got into poli-sci. It was easy. It's reading shit and regurgitating what you read, or kind of pre-law classes where you just get some facts and you get to argue them. There's really no real answer. Like you do an equation, you do chemistry, there's a fucking right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of, it was like, I tease, people ask me and I say I couldn't do math or science. I mean, I did, there's a little more of a backstory to that in, what grade was it? Eighth grade. My dad, I'll never forget this. Dad, he was the best. First time I ever got in trouble in class, I was a good kid. And he said he would always back me up. So we were in this class with this teacher, things you remember and don't remember. Her name,
always remember.
8th grade, Mrs. Peterkin. We called her Peter Pud. That was her nickname. And we were sitting at the table in her class and someone threw a paper airplane. And it happened to be the fucking bad motherfucker of the school, the group, whatever, just the bad kid. And he wasn't that far from me, and she starts asking who did it. And I was not gonna rat on this guy. And it came like right by me and then to her, so it could have come from me. So I get in trouble for it. I don't rat on this guy. There's just no way I'm gonna rat on him. And I go home, tell my dad the story, that she didn't see me do it. I didn't do it, as a matter of fact. And they wanted to give me detention or something, and I never had to ever in my, I was a good kid. And so my dad, we went down, talked to the principal. I ended up getting no detention, and he said this one time, I'm gonna let you switch classes. And I switched from this art class, which I don't know how I got into it, to deputy in the law. And that's where I think the seed was planted for being a lawyer. And then follow that, many years later, it's just I couldn't do math or science and hated school.
Wow, you had a good introductory experience with the law. My first introductory experience was my college law class, and that was the one college class that I almost failed. And I became a lawyer.
Well, I was lucky. I went to UCLA, and I had upper division, and most of my upper division, because I was in poli-sci, was con law. So when I got to law school, I already knew con law. It was kind of cool because normally it's more like you don't know, people just don't know any of that shit.
Yeah, they don't teach it. They're not teaching.
Yeah, you're not taking that class per se in undergrad. What was your undergrad in?
Communication studies.
Yeah, so you don't see anything with the law.
Nope, none of it.
I had a whole bunch of that stuff, so I had a really good, I wrote answers, essays. I already kind of did it at a mini level at UCLA.
And how about you?
I hated school, not a good student. I don't know, you probably did better than me. I barely made it through high school.
I had C's.
I've been acting since I was 10, summer stock, musical theater, had the video, I used your VCR. You had the big old, whatever, one of the first camcorders or whatever the hell it was. And I was running around Hollywood. I had different odd jobs in the industry so I could make the auditions and do all that stuff.
Likewise.
And then I went to UC Irvine as a theater arts major for one semester because then I got meningitis, almost died, and decided I'm not going to go to school. I don't need school to be an actor. I'm just going to go out and so I ran that racket till I was about 22, and then I met a girl. and we got engaged. And she was like, "Well, you're not getting. Well, how are you going to support us?"
Acting.
Who told you that?
My first fiance, Melanie.
Right.
And but wait. Before I started law school, she cheated on me, and we broke up. I should have threw her off the hot air balloon that I proposed on, but she cheated on me, and
Right
we
before you
broke
went
up.
to law school.
Before I was getting ready to go to law school.
That was the best thing that could have happened.
So then I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to go. Maybe I'll just keep doing it. But then I had already made one movie that I wrote and produced and directed, and I did it with out of Lomita, Copley Colony Cable Station. Out of Lomita, they let me use all their stuff, and I did this whole thing, and I was like, I want to make my own films. I want to write and produce and make my own stuff. You need money to do that.
Yep.
This guy was already a lawyer for 8 years or whatever it was, and he was making money. I said, if he could do it, I could do it. So now the funnier part is, if I was going to now go to law school at 23, I stopped UC Irvine. I just did one semester, so I had to do all the units and this and that. His 30th birthday party, the vice president of the law school he went to, Western State University College on Fullerton, was there, one of his friends, and I told him I wanted to go to law school, and he said, well, how are your grades? I go, well, they suck, and I go, he goes, do you have your AA degree? I go, not yet. And he goes, well, look, we have a program here. If you're 25, have your AA degree, and get a 50 on the LSAT, you can sign up and get your Bachelor of Science at Law degree simultaneously with your Juris Doctorate degree.
Wow.
So I said, man, I'm 23. And he goes, when are you going to be 24? I go, a couple months. And he goes, you know what, get your AA degree, take the LSAT, get a 50, and come talk to me. So I got my AA degree by I did TV courses and Coastline College and Cypress College.
Coastline is the best.
I hit all these, all just in like a year. I just impacted it all in, got that, took the LSAT, and got a 45. I don't know how they do it now, but I got a
145 or something.
So I needed to get a 50. I got a 45. I went and saw him, and I go, that was the dumbest fucking test I've ever had to take. What does that have? What does this test have to do with law school? The red house is with the green car, or some questions like that. I go, look, give me a shot. And he goes, okay, all right.
It's because of me.
I'm going to make an exception because of your brother. And so
I love how that works, though.
He goes, but I'm going to be watching you. You can't make me look like an idiot, because if anybody finds out, I'm fucked, because I'm not really supposed to do this. So that scared the living shit out of me. And for the first time in my academic life, I studied. And I was in that library, I didn't leave, I was there 18 hours a day, going everything. My first semester, I amjured legal writing. I was carrying like a 3.9. I crushed everything. So it was a 2.5-year program also. Mm-hmm. Oh. So I went intercession. So I did the first year.
Put me to sleep.
Had a year and a half left. What?
Get to the weed part.
Every time I tried to.
This isn't about your whole fucking college and every job you had.
When you were talking, I let you just go and say, I'd been done already if you didn't interrupt 5 times. So I don't know what you want me to do. Now, where was I? No, kidding.
You were at the end.
Wait. Do you mind if I ask you a really quick personal question?
Ask me whatever you want.
What he said actually resonated with me, because that's like kind of the way I did. Like, do you think you have ADHD?
Of course.
Okay.
Why would you think I use cannabis?
And the funny thing is, I think I have it, and the name of
Can I finish my
name? No, this is better. The name of your show actually really made me think about, off my meds, and just not even delving into it really deep. But what does that really mean? You're off your meds because you're smoking weed or whatever. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I don't think I ever was off my meds because I smoked weed since I was 15. Because I'm OCD, you can blah, 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 I'm up here, and I'm I'm the same, but I've been smoking weed for my whole life.
Yeah, Chucky Chuck said he used to hide his ADHD medication and just smoke.
When I was a kid, I didn't think they knew what it was.
Well, actually, our dad they wanted to give me whatever they wanted to give me, and Dad said no.
I was in the era of all of these pharmaceutical companies coming at you. It's like Ritalin and Adderall. And
Well, we could have put them out to pasture, because actually when we grew up in Cerritos, it was cow pasture still.
Oh, wow.
Right there in Cerritos, right there off the 91 in Carmenita.
Okay, finish your story. I didn't forget.
Yeah, so I did extremely well that first semester, and then I have a semester and a half to go, and I'm not gonna go apply for a job at somewhere. I was working for my brother.
Yeah.
Fucking cares about he didn't care about my grades at that point. So then some of the seniors were going, man, you could do law review, and I go, I just want to get out of here. I want to graduate and get out of here. And they go, well, then with what you did the first semester, you could coast. And I 2.0s, 3.25. Well, I didn't care. I passed all my classes, and got out in 2.5 years. And then this is where he likes to rib me. I took the bar 3 times.
Good for you.
He took it once. So he doesn't.
Oh, you're always rubbing it in his face. You're like, dick.
Well, so
I don't know how I did it. I don't know.
I honestly don't.
You know what's funny is because even in law school, I was still that 2.5, 3.0. I think I amajured one class. I forget what it was.
No, you didn't. Liar.
I did.
Liar.
I amajured one class.
I never saw it.
Are
Mine's
you
on the
willing to
wall.
trust,
Yours isn't on
actually?
the wall at the office. Where is it?
It's on my wall.
What class was it?
Mine was legal writing.
I can't
And I
recall.
almost amajured con law. Somebody beat me out by the 10th of the point.
I want to say it was a wills and trust. It was kind of weird, but I wrote a really good whatever it was. But anyways, I don't know what the fuck you wrote to me. See?
Mine was gambling law. Mine was my proudest one was gambling law.
We didn't have gambling.
I know.
All we had was the one forced tax course that you had to take.
Man,
And
tax
all I
sucks.
had to remember, all I remember from that is income is from whatever source derived.
It's
And that was on the bar?
I don't know if that was on, but you know what was on my bar?
Corporations.
A corporations question, which I snuck out of the review class to get high. And I studied pretty hard for the bar, but that one class I just said fuck it, and it was a corporations review, and it ended up being a corporate question. And another one on there, no shit, a negative reciprocal servitude. Fucking crushed it. I thought I did, and people were like, "What did you see in there?" I'm like, "That's what I saw."
They always say the worst part about like taking the bar is having to hear everybody's stupid ass answers.
I didn't
on what
talk
they
to. I
think
didn't
was
ask
on
them
it.
either. There was someone who asked me, and I'm like,
You're like, it doesn't matter. It's done. We
And you
did
have
what we
it
did.
once?
Once.
Okay. So and how did you study?
By myself. I realized.
You take a course or any of that shit?
Yeah, but it was like
Barbary,
Barbary.
Fleming. Is Fleming still around? Oh my!
I don't know.
Because if he is,
I
I
know Barbary.
don't want to choke him if he's still
There's,
around.
this is how I did it. Just like a bar stool, just like a law school exam, everything, IRAC, whatever the fuck we used to, rule, blah, 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 blah. And then I typed mine, okay? And it was a whole nother level of fuck you, because I talked to people, I happened to...
What did you type on? When did you take the bar?
Fuck, man, it was 1986. I had 2 typewriters. We're talking manual.
Holy
No, it was electric.
It was
You
electric.
could only go back, but you could only go back 2 lines, and you couldn't do a delete or it was weird. You could only go back 2 lines on it because of the memory and the bar. So I had 2 of them though in case it went down. I had a backup. So, but I learned from everybody I talked to. It was like a survey. What did you do to pass? What did you do to pass? What did you do to pass? Well, I studied this and I wrote da-da-da. I did flashcards. I did this. I typed it because readers are going to have a stack of these fucking things and go, typed, written, fuck me. And then on your typed ones, you underline all the fucking buzzwords. It's not that difficult. And the readers go through and go check, check, check,
I
check.
forgot. Thank you for
don't
reminding me about
They don't
that.
even read your paper.
Yeah.
And I did everything that everybody I talked to to give me the best chance of passing.
So what did you
So
learn?
I took this Fleming's course.
Should have paid me to do
which
it.
was the best one out there at that time. And it was a 3-month deal. And at the end, you do practice exams the week before. And I did these practice exams, and I was getting 90 and 80 and 85, and I was like, "Oh, cool! This is great." And I go off and take the exam, and I felt weird about it because I used a type. So they encourage you, if you were using a typewriter, electric, bring 2, in case it breaks down or something.
Yeah, I did that.
So I did typewriter because you did typewriter.
You did typewriter
I did
too?
I did typewriter, and I'm going, and right in the middle, it stops, and it broke. Thought it broke down, and I had to bring out the other one, and I picked up the other one, and I said, and so I go through the whole thing. I'm done. It didn't break down. Somebody the plug came out or something, and that particular one, I'll never forget. Lunch ended. We come in, and they're like, it's X time. We're locking the doors. Bam, 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 let me in. There's some guy who didn't make it in, and he was starting to cry. You could hear him, and they wouldn't let him in. Finish, and then what? You have 3 months to wait, right? And so when the results were coming out, it was my law school graduation. And so I went to the law school graduation. We were partying. We're getting the results are coming in the mail the next week, and. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you even on your phone? We're in the middle of an interview.
Sorry, it was
That's
important.
fucking rude, man.
It was important.
Rude.
You know what? You know why I did that? You know why I did that? I specifically did it because he does it all the time.
Not during an interview.
Well, you're talking.
Look at my phone.
No, that's because you're talking.
I don't.
If
do
you
it,
weren't
not
talking,
on a podcast.
you'd have looked at your phone in a minute.
No.
Yep.
I have everything off.
We'll play back.
I have everything off. I've learned.
I've can't go through all 3 fucking times you took it.
Well, once again, see how I tell stuff and then he has to interject? Well, it's because you keep interrupting. So it's going to take as long as it's going to take.
Mine was like a 4-minute.
Well, yeah, you're boring. You passed it the first time. You're a genius. I mean, I had to then woke up in the morning on Saturday at a hotel, after the graduation party, and somebody called me and goes, "Mark, you can call up and get the results." And that was the first time you could call in and get the results. So I called the number. Somehow I got right through.
What happened?
It said California State Bar, last name, please.
Fuck you.
And I said, Wasserman, Mark. I'm sorry, that name does not appear on the successful list. Oh. Click. And I was like, I'm half drunk still. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? And then I call back. Now it takes me like an hour and a half.
Oh, because it wasn't real the first time.
Fuck no. And I called back and I said, spelled out my name, not on the successful list. What does that mean? Is there another list?
I had to wait for a letter.
And this, can I finish? So you could have got that in your part of the story.
It didn't come up.
All right, well, we can keep going.
No, I could have just thrown it in and you could keep going.
Is this what it's like at work all the time?
Oh, no.
Actually,
Really?
Well, he's doing his shit, I'm doing my shit.
separate things.
You riff so well off of each other. It's so beautiful.
Well, the point was, that happened. That was Saturday morning. The next day was my law school graduation. I called my mom and dad and said, I'm at a hotel in Long Beach. I'm okay. Had fun last night. I just found out I failed the bar. Call everybody. I am not going to my graduation. And don't worry, I'll be home in a couple days. And then I drank a bottle of vodka and stayed in the room and sulked and da-da-da-da. And then 3 days later, I said, all right, I got to take it again. Did you want to say something?
No, we're just waiting to fast forward this shit.
Because the first time I studied, I didn't part. No, it was clean. It was just the bar.
Is this I'm about to show my legal knowledge. Is this pre-ADA? When did you take it? What year? It's post. Sorry.
I took the bar.
No, it was pre.
1992.
Yeah, it was post.
I was going to say, I'm guessing you didn't try to get accommodations for your ADHD.
No, I just smoked. That's fine.
I
You should see me when I'm done.
I actually did an ADA case early on after it passed. It was a fucking federal court deal. It was a pain in the ass. I ended up we settled it. I represented the injured. It was actually injured worker. What turned into an ADA case.
Wow.
Work comp turned into an ADA case. And
So
then I
then,
never wanted to do that
sorry, I
again.
didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay. I'll let you
Go ahead, finish.
So the second
the first
time
one was no drinking. Second one was
Second
drinking.
one, I
Party
did
as
whatever
hard as you want.
I studied with. I didn't take a course. I did that.
Same result.
And I ended up. It was the same. So the first time I get the results, I failed by 20 fucking points. The second time I failed by 10 points, but did 30 points better than the last time, but the scaling. So whatever. So now I'm like, fuck. So how'd I study this time? This time I went to, there was in 1996, where we grew up in Cerritos, they had got their first Starbucks. And so I went there 6 a.m., would study there from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. because I felt in some of the tests I had taken, I got a little distracted, thousands of people in a room and whatever. And so I just wanted to study amongst distraction. And I would finish that, walk across the street to the brand new TGI Fridays from 6 to midnight, get drunk, cab home, my parents' house.
Holy shit.
And I did that for 4 months. And then I went and took the bar. Oh, here's a little side story. Fletch.
No, finish the story.
Well, I took the bar in San Diego. Okay. I took the bar. And now this time I'm like, I'm waiting for the mail. I'm waiting for the mail. So the morning comes, my mom and dad wake me up and they go, Craig called, he said you passed and it's on the internet. It's not on the fucking internet, they don't have that. And so I go on our dad's Commodore 64, dial up whatever, and it couldn't connect. And I called you up and I said, you better not be fucking with me.
I should have.
I did. I thought he was told. I thought you were. And so we get to his house. He's on the computer. Pulls up the stapler bar. My name, successful list.
Nice.
There I was. Do you remember what we did? So my mom and dad were there. We went in his backyard with my dad. He lit up a big joint. I think that was the first time we actually smoked right in front of our dad together. And I think our dad took it, and then he said, let's go to Vegas. And I said, okay, I don't have any money. And he gave me $250. And we drove to Vegas.
What a good brother. Now he's yelling at me.
We drove to Vegas. Well, do you remember what happened on the drive back?
The ticket.
No.
This is good. See what happens when you actually talk? You start.
Yeah, but still.
Go somewhere.
This is funny.
So we drive to Vegas. We gambled, played blackjack. I won 200. I had $500 when we left, and we stayed for like maybe 2 hours. We're driving back. We stop at State Line to gas up, and I'm rolling a joint. I'm rolling a joint, gassing up, take off from State Line. We smoked a joint.
Oh.
Victorville.
What year was this?
96. It was 96 because I had just passed the bar. And I was waiting for my moral character shit application and stuff also.
And was that easy peasy?
Yeah. Well, no, I had already. That's the ethics exam that I took. That's a different story. But the lights come. Fuck, we're getting pulled over. Get pulled over. Now this is before any of this. Right?
Before weed was good at all. I mean, luckily at the point it was still a cite and release, but still. It wasn't just a ticket, it was a cite.
It was a
release.
misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Goddamn. So what happens is, cop comes on, sorry. And he was speeding, like, what is it, 70, 80 or whatever the fuck. He was pulled over for speeding. And then I remember he got him out of the car and he told you to stick out your tongue.
I don't remember. I really do. I remember the incident, but I don't remember the details.
Unfortunately, I remember shit. And because he was checking to see how, whatever, what's the smell? We didn't say anything. And then the cop on my side goes, you got no marijuana in here?
No, sir.
And he goes, what's that? And I looked down at it. It was almost this big. A piece when I was rolling was just stuck there. Just stuck there. Just fucking stuck. And I looked at it, and then he goes, and then his backpack was in between my legs, and it had probably a half ounce in there.
Killing me.
And so he goes, whose is that? And in that instant, my mind went, My brother is going through a horrible, nasty fucking divorce with 4 kids. If he picks up anything, he is fucked.
Oh,
It's mine, officer. Yeah,
It doesn't give you a pass forever. For everything. Doesn't give you an everything, everywhere pass. But a lot.
So he takes it, he takes it out, and they must have searched the car and all that shit. Nothing else in there.
I don't know if we had a little itty bitty bag. Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, I remember that.
So I get a cite and release for misdemeanor possession of marijuana, and I'm like, fuck! I passed the thing, but my moral character app is still being reviewed, and if it gets kicked,
I gotta redo
I'm gonna have to redo it, and this is gonna be on it or whatever. So that's the first thing. So we go to court. Fritchie, his buddy who's a criminal defense attorney for 30 years.
Passed the bar.
I just passed the bar.
Not sworn in yet.
And so we go to court. A couple months later,
Have you ever had any court experience?
No, never. I've been pulled over plenty of times, but never ended like that. And so we get to court, and the first thing that I saw was the DA, fucking guy I went to law school with. And even better, his name was Jefferson. When first day of law school, he's in his skinhead and army boots and just a punk rocker, just a total punk rocker, and a very cool, nice guy. And we walk into court, and the guy had a full head of hair. And it was him. And I'm like, oh my God. That's the DA. I told him, I go, well, maybe this might help or whatever. And so he comes back and he goes, you can do these classes and do diversion and what classes? I ain't doing no fucking classes. I'll take the misdemeanor hit. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to go to jail. So it was a fine and 3 years informal probation and community service or whatever the fuck it was. And that was that. So, because I would get it, because like I said, I'm going to work for him. Who cares about my fucking record? I'm not going to go say I got an issue smoking my meds.
Did it affect your moral character?
No, because it went through before. I never had to. They
don't follow up and check on you.
Would it have impacted it, you think?
Probably, yeah, absolutely. At that time?
Oh, yeah.
So now, and that's 1996.
The fact that when we started this fucking IG, he was more of, let's do it, because Be Real called us up and said, well, not Be Real.
Can I tell it? You're telling it wrong.
He just wants to talk to
You're trying to. It's your son.
I know it is.
So tell it right. Got to give your son credit.
I am. I was getting there.
You should have
Quit wasting her time.
Are we wasting time?
Yeah, take as much time.
Wait, are there cameras?
This is.
I didn't even know.
So to fast forward.
Well, hold on.
He passed the second time.
Wait, let me interject.
The third time he passed.
She's the host. She asked us about our law school.
And then my son, my youngest son went on to pass the first time also.
So you and your son bully your younger brother.
But he's smarter than both of us.
He
stopped practicing law.
Yeah. He passed it at a time when he wasn't sure what he was going to do going forward, practice or corporate world.
Yeah.
And he ended up, but between the time that he took it and between the time that he actually got the pass results, they made a big deal. And like I always told him, law is this degree you got is never going to go to waste.
Ever.
You go into the business world, corporate world, and it's coming so true that he's, doesn't do this area of the law, but I can read. Mm-hmm. You can read. You don't do high-end corporate, but you start actually reading this shit. And nowadays it's even better. There's a tax code. I'm not a tax fucking guy, but I copy it, paste it into IA, and go, what's this paragraph? Blah. And it goes. And then if I have to, I'll go double check. I've double checked.
No more typewriters.
I don't want to get into any kind of citing shit because we've heard what people have done that cited stuff,
Isn't
and
it crazy?
then it's not really a cite. Like
I don't know
that's
how somebody
stupid.
could use AI to write a legal brief. That makes so.
I'm sure the legal brief is better than how we would write it. The mistake is, I don't know how you get around it because I don't really do this anymore, but how you would get around the plagiarism potentially, and also you can't use cites, or if you did, you gotta look it up.
Yeah.
Before, it's like double checking your paralegal. Did you put the right cite in there? I mean, I haven't done motions in years, but I used to live in lawn motion. I hated it. I used to argue and write them and sucked. I just hate it.
did you
So I know
start?
a lot about lawn motion.
What did you do the 4 months you waited from taking the bar to the results?
I interned. I went back and interned where I was interning before.
I couldn't get a job.
Fast forward to my son going through a couple felony cases because of weed.
Uncle Mark.
That
Well, actually, no. I started helping your son when he was like 13.
I
And
know.
and all cannabis shit. Actually, they wanted to give his son meds, and he said no.
No, I gave him.
Come in the
I think
backyard.
he was 13 or 14 when I had him smoke.
Do you think that do you ever find that it's harmful for your ADHD?
No,
Never.
I have never had any negative effect for me.
No memory issues?
No, my memory is
Because-
crazy. My memory is crazy.
I studied for the bar at
Let's see.
the pub down the street,
Nice.
and it was the best. You said I focus
Right.
in distraction.
Yeah.
Like when there's just like random subtle noises happening is when I can like dead silence or people to whisper. It's just like I can't deal with it.
Probably since 1976,
Jesus Christ. He's a hippie.
75, maybe 76, 77. I've been smoking every fucking day, all day, pretty much. And I had a couple periods where I had to stop for 6 months because of a court issue. And during one of my divorces, the first one. She knew I smoked weed. It wasn't an issue until.
How many divorces
Sorry,
are
the first
there?
one was from law school.
No. So we'll skip all that.
Yes,
So
Okay.
we skip all that. Deference to my lovely wife at home.
God, that was fucking insane. And she didn't want me to drive the kids.
Well, that was a good one too. She comes in the court. We were in court. Court was packed, and it was ugly, just ugly fucking family law shit. And so we're in there arguing about something, and she says something about. I said my brother can take them here and there or whatever, and she's like, no, he has a conviction for this, this, and this, and she said all this shit. Where she's like, he's a drug user, whatever, DUI, whatever the fuck she rattled off. The judge goes, sir, do you have a license and registration and insurance? Yes. Okay, you can do it.
Do you think that stuff would be as frowned upon now in those families?
No, I know because I still get called. I used to do family law. I did family law for 15 years.
How was that?
And I don't do it anymore.
Well, and then going through 10 years,
Right, well,
of the
yeah.
case, we started to do
I
family law.
I became an expert because of his case and
We
everything.
both
He-
like I
he
can
fucking-
do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And all it is billing and sitting around and the judge saying come back later, waiting 8 hours to talk to the judge for an hour,
Yeah.
and
And then people fighting, and then it's just more hours.
more money.
People are
and
fighting.
like,
more
but I just
hours.
couldn't do it.
Well, yeah, I got to the point where someone would come in. I go, look, split up all your money, or give it to me and the other attorney right now. Well, and I said, well, go find somebody else. And that's how I kind of got out of it. But
true.
these days, I still get the
All the
calls.
money just goes to the lawyers anyway. No one ever seems to understand.
There are judges who have problems with people using cannabis when they decide custody.
Depends on the judge you got.
Custody issues.
Even though in the code, I think in the regs, I'm almost 100% sure in somewhere in 64, if it wasn't codified into the whole regulations, that it can't be used in.
No, it does say that. No,
Right.
it says that.
Right.
But the judges don't care
Yeah,
because I've
so-
seen it used, and like they're making me test, and I can't smoke, and I can't consume.
What do you think? What do you think the outcome would be if this reclassification?
That's not happening.
You don't think it's happening?
No, why
What,
would
down
it?
to 3?
Why would it? Why would it
Down to
happen?
3?
Yeah, I don't think
No,
it's happening.
it's gonna happen.
I don't think so.
But
don't think it's
the
happening.
asterisk is, I've been, knock on wood, very busy lately, so I haven't delved into this. This is more from articles that I've been reading about the descheduling, because everybody's saying little different things. And before I say anything really about it, I wanted to look. So I looked this morning just a little bit,
Honestly, I should have.
and it looks like, I mean, this is a totally uneducated, I haven't really dived into shit comment.
I'll give
okay?
my comment next.
Ditto, or asterisk. Sorry, people. We'll address the issue when I actually have dove into it. But the high and low points. From what I understood, someone said the 280E is still going to apply because it's illegal. The fact that it's a 3 doesn't really matter. Then I've read people who say because, or 280E only applies to 1 and 2, 280E is not going to apply now.
Oh.
Some have said, nah, it's not such a clear cut because 280E is not like, okay, cannabis business. No, it was up on a Schedule 1, and so it was included. It's not like all of a sudden you're dealing in a Schedule 3 substance illegally. So your business is still federally illegal. Does that make common sense?
Yes.
It's still federally illegal because it's a Schedule 3. It's pharmaceutical bullshit. And are the pharmacies now, there's a path to the FDA when it's a 3. Does it enable banking? The bank can still say the bank can still say it's still federally illegal. It's a 3. So what? So it doesn't. It's potentially a little step. At least now they're saying yes, it's some kind of, medical. It's got medical benefits.
Shocking. They just figured it out.
Number 3, there was no medical benefits ever. No, not at all. 100%.
Schedule 1.
Not fucking heroin, fentanyl. So now they've at least gone to 3. That's the
They haven't gone to 3 yet.
To me, that's the only
hasn't
optimistic. It is. They filed shit. It's going to probably happen. They
It
have
hasn't happened
rulemaking,
yet.
90 days. That's going to happen.
Okay, because we've never seen it start like that and then die off.
I've never done this ever. This is like historic.
In 1996, it was historic. Prop 215 was enacted. I became an attorney.
Well, then you let politicians get involved.
Well, everybody said no. Everybody said 5 years it'll go legal because California starts everything, and and then 12 years later you got Colorado first adult use before California. Oh, Colorado did it. 5 more years. We're gonna get, and then adult use in California. It's gonna go federal in 5 more years. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it's gonna happen.
It's okay.
And I think all it's going to do is fuck it up.
Because
okay, wait, here, I got it.
Well, that's a whole different argument.
Well, it's not an argument.
It's the same way that people hoped. People were like, we were on that fence of is 64 good or bad. We're old industry.
No.
We come from the old industry. Kids started in the old industry. Everything was a handshake. Everything was done. But it was safe, but you didn't have regulations, applications, and blah, 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 blah. And you were making.
They'll never make it legal.
So what happens is when they make it legal, all that just goes poof. So at the federal level, if they make it legal and try to impose more regulations, it's going to just be more of a shit show than it is at the state levels.
So here's why I think they can never make it federally legal.
Okay.
What are they going to do with the tens of thousands of people in jail across the country for these crimes that are no longer going to be crimes and be expunged from your record? You got to be released.
Isn't that a good idea, though?
Of course it's a good idea.
You're talking about the industrial prison complex.
Right.
They'll crush the prison, the private prison system. To let all those people go.
See, now here's the idea.
He's being pessimistic.
But the idea, my idea.
He's not advocating for that.
No, my idea is turn those prisons into farms and cultivations, and everybody who's in there, release them right into jobs in the cannabis industry. That's what I think should happen.
So,
what? What's the next
we
question?
go through a few cases with my son.
I don't know. We've taken so many
Well,
left turns. I'm
no,
trying to figure it out. I'm
But
trying to...
you can't, they're interesting cases that because of what we taught him. So do the first case. Go in chronological order. It's easy.
No.
Jumping all over the place.
This is the easiest way to go. If you want more detail, you let her ask.
Okay, but do the trailer park or the house one first or whatever.
Okay. He had a grow going. We had all. That's how we first
This
actually.
is the case you were working?
For the kid.
This is for the kid.
For my son.
We got him set up with the.
So he comes to us and says,
cooperative.
He's been smoking for years already. He's 18 and he wants to sell weed. He wants to grow weed for patients. So we looked it all up under the regulations back then, and he had all the paperwork and had all the patient agreements and signed, blah, 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 blah.
Attorney General
and he had
guidelines.
24 plants in a room a little smaller than this, full-blown fucking grow room. And one morning he gets robbed, and cops end up coming, and they find all the weed, and they hit him for a couple felonies for growing.
Wow, that's one way to tell it.
So in the meantime, because he shut the fuck up, because he didn't consent to a search, we were able to get the 4 felonies dismissed. Because ultimately, the cops went in the house with his keys, after he said, I don't consent to a search, after they bleeped it out of the video, out of the audio, it was bleeped out of the audio. Where in the audio did he say, I consent? And it's when he points down to his keys, and it goes, because when he said he goes, there's my keys, but I don't give you consent. And why'd they want to break into your house? And he's like,
why don't you go after him?
I just got a brand new TV. That's why he opened the door, because and there were actual robbers there. A manager heard him and saw them run away. Cops pull up and the kid gets profiled. Little white boy at a trailer park in a brand new manufactured home, wearing shorts and which I can't.
Can you say that?
No, now it's called an athletic tee or something. Okay, I'm getting myself in trouble. Here we go. And then, so anyways,
We both knew what he was saying, though.
They ultimately take his keys and they go into the house and they find this little fucking room, 24 plants, like the bust of the century.
The local paper had it sounding like it was
like huge.
Multi-million.
So anyways, but because he shut the fuck up, because on all the video and audio, he didn't say shit, he didn't consent, we were able to get the case dismissed before having to show that he was doing it properly under the law, which you don't want to have to go there if you don't have to. That we got everything. We did a motion to.
But it's important to say how it got dismissed because the cops are on they're mic'd up. That's the only thing that bleeps out. Not, all right, we went in, but how are we going to get in there? Call someone.
Well, on the report, ultimately on the report.
Well, they said he consented.
We could do a whole show on these 2 cases. But in the report, one of the biggest things they fucked up was they said there was exigent circumstances. And the problem they had was when they pulled up, it was corroborated by the manager of the park that the people ran away.
The robbers left.
So there was no imminent danger. If the cops had run up and said, we don't care, we're doing a safety check, they probably could have busted the fucking door down and there would have been nothing to fight about. Instead, they waited 45 minutes badgering my kid, put him in the back, handcuffed.
Saying it, we got to figure out how to get in the house.
You hear him saying, we're going to bring over Sergeant Joe, Schmo, we're going to figure it out.
We got to get in the house.
And so we filed the motion that he didn't give consent.
Overgrowing weed.
Oh yeah, these were 4 felonies. It was 24 plants.
These were 4 felonies.
Holy fuck.
4 felonies. But remember, that was the one when we give the fucking disc to the DA, and the cop
didn't testify.
The cop watched the video of him lying his ass off, and
in his report.
Because he knew.
Right. She comes back and she goes, "Cop's not going to testify."
And that was
cool. And then when we had to go in, Jarrett had to testify.
Did they know that? Did they figure out that Dad was a lawyer?
No, that's not on this one because Jarrett just had to get up and. Did you consent? No, that was it.
And then they had no witnesses to say that, so the judge threw everything out.
So that was it. The second one.
Search and seizure. Second one, he gets pulled over by a cop
because he's on his fucking cell phone.
Because in a rental of all places, because he knows better. But it's a rental. He didn't have his earbuds. Blah blah blah. He gets pulled over. He's making deliveries in Newport. He's got a delivery now. Went from growing to a storefront in Newport Beach, a full-blown retail, and then
shout it out. What's it called?
It was.
Oh, no, that was a long time ago.
That was
West Coast Cure.
That was the first place they ever came up with West Coast Cure as a brand, and that was the name of the store before it became an actual brand for whatever he puts it on.
I got it.
But that's how it originated back then. Was this first store they retail, and then from that it went to delivery. And from delivery, it went to blasting in concentrates. To now where it is now, doing it all.
But first, he had to go through this second case.
So the cop pulls him over, gets him out of the car. She hands him one of our cards, like on the back. We'll read it in a second. And this will bleed in. This bleeds into. This bleeds into us how we actually become coppers in law. Okay, let me.
Really, you're thinking ahead?
Yes, I'm thinking ahead. See, who doesn't have ADHD? I never had the choice of pills until I was 16 and started smoking. So.
But she asked him, "What's that smell?"
She asked him, "What's that smell?"
You remember what he said? I know exactly what he said.
What did he say?
He said, "Smell isn't probable cause in California anymore."
Smart kid.
which at that time there was a split of authority.
He was smart enough, so we told him not to say that stuff, but he knew a little more than he should have. But because there was a dichotomy in the law back then that if it's legal conduct, how can it be PC for something?
Yeah.
But it could be illegal too. But I mean, it was just, there was a couple different cases. But anyways, he said that. And then they sit him on the curb.
Well,
and then they search his car. And later he's like, Dad, I didn't give her consent to search.
Well, first of all, you got to go pick. That sucks when you. Anyways, when you think about him sitting in that fucking car,
Twice, video.
I hate that in the
Tough.
back of the cop car. You know.
You ever seen the back of a cop car?
Yeah.
It's like plastic little seats.
Oh no, sat in one.
I've been in one once. That's another story. So we get the shit, the discovery, and all in the video and everything. And so the report says she pulled him over for his phone, smelled it, got him out of the car, took him to the side of the curb. He consented to a search. And she found, and then
She had said I
everything is there.
smelled it.
Because they always say
If
that.
she,
though.
but if she had said I
No,
smelled it,
And
we would have probably still be litigating this 20 years later if she said I smelled it.
Oh, but
she could have
didn't put
searched.
that in the-
She could have searched for the smell.
She's back then.
Oh, fuck.
Instead, she said he
That-
gave consent.
that was probably
to the
the cause.
wrong motherfucking guy. she lied one too many times to the wrong fucking kid. Who both times, mind you, in both these different
It was
cases.
the same cop?
No.
Oh.
My kid.
This
same
was
kid.
Same
this was a
kid.
woman.
Yeah.
This happened to and I'm like, he was ready. He had people he knew in fucking jail already. He's like, I'm gonna go to jail. I did not fucking do this. I did not say this. I did not say this. I didn't give consent. We're like, well, we'll see when we get the goddamn shit. And he didn't.
So I get her on the stand, and we go through the video.
The report first.
The report first, and then we turn the video on. Okay, so he says I consent when you get him on the curb, and that's out of view. Everything, and you see him handing her this card through the window at some point before he gets out of the car. And so now she video everything. You hear the conversation. You hear it's probable smell, blah blah blah, everything they're talking about. Then you get over here, and oh well, that's where you said he gave consent. What happened to the audio? I don't know. It's technical something. Sometimes that happens. I don't know. I go, that's interesting. So we heard him tell you when he was being pulled after he was sitting in the car initially, he didn't consent to a search, and then didn't he give you a card?
Because after she gave him the card, she walked away, and you hear her say, "There's something that we didn't hear him say earlier." But she said, "So where'd you learn that? From your uncle, or where'd you learn that?" And you hear him say, "From my uncle and dad," or something like that.
Yeah. My uncle and dad are lawyers. That's how I know.
So, but before she gets him out of the car, he gives her the card, and she looks at it and gives it back. So on the stand, he asks her to read the back of that to the judge, not the top of it, just the red.
Yeah, so right, and I go, does this look like does this look like the card?
She should have said no to all those questions.
And she said, yeah. And I go, okay, so can you please read the back?
Problem with lying.
And it says, and she says, I do not consent to a search. I want my lawyer. To any police officer or law enforcement personnel, I am invoking my Fifth Amendment Miranda rights and will only speak to you with my attorney present. Please allow me to contact my attorney. And I looked at her and I said, and you know that Uncle, Dad are here, or he told you that we're attorneys. That's how he knew some of the stuff he was talking about. And we have taught him since birth that he is not to talk to cops, never consent to searches, and that's it. And so I'm just so curious because we can't hear it. What did you say? You're like a genius because he told you not going to consent, gave you a card, he's not going to consent.
3.5 minutes
and then
later?
2.5, 3 minutes later, he's consenting. Please tell me what you said. How'd you get him to consent? And she said, you're confusing me. And then I said, and I always say this too, every time I say it, something I did once, I'll never do it again. Isn't that because you're a liar? You don't do that to a witness. You let the judge decide, and the judge Judge Pacheco just glared at me. I said, no further questions. And then the finding was there was no consent. And we got the case dismissed, and even better, we did the motion for return of property. And the only thing I can credit Newport Beach Police Department with is when we went down to the evidence locker, it was there in the jars, and there was jars
of him and my son walking out down the steps with the
chocolate, bars, money, cell phones.
Had you both had criminal trial experience prior to that?
No.
That was your first experience doing.
I mean,
Well, hold on. What year was that?
I don't know, but it doesn't really matter because if any court experience goes over.
Well, and that's not a trial
almost
either.
They were hearings.
They were hearing in
We
front
didn't
of the
have
judge.
to try them. These were motions to dismiss based on
But I mean,
unreasonable search and seizure.
I'm just in
So
criminal
I've done.
court.
Yeah,
I did a million of those.
I did 1,000,001.
This just happened to be, hey, I can do criminal. I'm not doing the everyday stuff where he
wait.
knows all this different code
We
sections
skipped an
and
important
shit.
part. Why we ended up representing him.
Cocksucking brother motherfucker attorneys. Whatever. It's not important. It's not important. What it did was it made us realize
We're gonna do it.
We can do this.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
we did
anything
it.
else in law that you know, a lot of stuff like I did civil litigation, PI defense, business, if once you do litigation for X amount, it doesn't matter what it is. Give me an expert, tell me what it is, and discovery and litigation. Let's
go.
Right?
Amen to that.
Right?
Yeah.
But I did get tired. I do get tired of litigation. I mean, but that's what I did.
It's
so
a
it was
rough
like,
life.
so we learned that he's doing all the criminal, but if we need a big motion or something like that, I can help. I can come in and
Do you like being in court?
Yeah.
You like going to court?
Yeah.
not so mean much anymore.
I hate it.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
let's go ahead. Hold on.
I have a disability policy. I trump all you.
Okay, good.
I have a disability policy that you couldn't get anymore. It's like 20 something years old, and it peggoes me as a litigator. So if I can't litigate, I can actually draw on this disability policy, but I can still practice law.
Oh, that's cool.
I can still do transactional law, which I've happened to go into because, and I'm getting ready to go see a psychiatrist, and I'm not actually bullshitting that I litigated for probably just under 30 years. I am going to lose it with a judge.
No, he's absolutely right.
I'm going to lose it with opposing counsel. I've already done it.
No, I'm close to
little
that.
tiny bit a few times.
Contempt.
But I haven't really gone to court. Since cannabis happened, I made a full 180 almost into just transactional law. So I don't have to go to court. I can go on a cruise next week and I can actually sit on a balcony and get Wi-Fi and I can actually work right there on a beautiful balcony. And instead of having to get up every day, and I did that though for a whole.
Put on a suit.
Yeah, how do your stress levels deal with all that?
Cannabis.
It doesn't matter.
So, but here's the thing.
Cannabis the whole time. Who knows? I can't tell you. I've been the same the whole fucking time. Right? I don't think I can handle the shit that I've had to handle.
For me now, I will admit, prior to all this stuff happening to us starting in 2015, I liked to go to court. I did get stressed out some. But now, on any given, here's one little thing that happened to me in court a couple weeks ago. I went to a courthouse, you go in, you check in. They're checking in all the people and all that stuff, and I check in with the bailiff, and I give the bailiff, okay, we gotta answer that.
Pause 1 second.
I give my card to the bailiff. And so I do this all the time, right? And so usually the reactions from the bailiffs, they're all different. But in this instant, I give him the card, and he's just looking at it. It's a little lot to change. And then I went, oh, hey, turn it over. He turned it over. And then he's reading it, right? And he goes, you're checked in, counselor. And I sit down, and then people are filling in. He's just, come in and sit down. We'll check you in after. And then you know how bailiffs give this is the courtroom of this. You don't take off your hat. And So he was getting ready to do that. I don't know, there's probably like 40 or 50 people in the courtroom. And he goes, before I start my little thing, this attorney right here just gave me this card, and I want to read it to you. Why did you pull me over? I'm not discussing my day. Am I being detained or am I free to go? If detained, I invoke the fifth. Then and you went like this, STFU. Do you know what that means? To STFU? And then I went, well, if anybody wants any, I have them. And they lined up. And I was passing out cards.
Have you always just had a natural knack with social media? I feel like.
Yeah, I've been on every social media there is, starting with MySpace, and because I found that for my movies, I was on MySpace and my law office because it was free. Hey, Mark's giving free consultations to his MySpace friends. Or when Facebook came, my buddy called me and goes, hey, in a year, there's this Facebook thing.
I love that you
it's free
said you
advertising.
promoted your business on MySpace.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, 2 of them.
I was even more archaic. I never did on any platform.
Which made
How has social media helped your business?
Ridiculous.
we don't advertise. I mean, that's what advertising is now.
Yeah.
You know, but fun.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, people spend lots of fucking money on advertising.
Right, but we didn't go into it thinking. We went into it thinking, hey, this is the free little promotion advertising stuff we can do.
Because on Sunset, did you ever get to there?
Maybe we'll
get
get
to Be Real Studio.
No, I was waiting to you.
Get to Be Real Studio.
Okay. So cut to January 22nd, 2015. We're in our office doing what we do, and at this point, I have my office. I'm Lofts Mark Wasserman, Lofts Craig Wasserman. He does what he does. I do criminal defense. He does business stuff and some more comp stuff. Every once in a while, a case might come in, the PI or whatever. We do shit together. That's we weren't partners. Set our practices. And so Jared comes in. It's 1 in the afternoon. And he comes in and he goes, Dad, Mark, Dad, Unc. My friends need to interview attorneys who'll smoke weed and answer questions about 2016, how it's going to go legal. And I told them you guys would do it. And I went, okay, wait, where do we go?
Yeah.
And he went,
Where are we going?
what is this? And he goes, it's Be Real TV. And then that's when I said, I was still, is he on 2, 4, 7? What network is he on? I didn't know Be Real was on TV. He goes, no, Unc, it's internet. It's internet. A live stream internet or whatever. And so he was a little apprehensive. You said, what's the bar going to say? And I said, we have our physician's recommendation. We're going to a private studio, and they don't have a problem with it. We're protected under Prop 215. I didn't see.
I guess I really never even thought about how that might make my professional life look. I didn't really care. I feel like
I said, fuck it.
Well, he cared more about.
How many lawyers do you know that have pill popping problems or like problems or
Three
like or
martini
straight
lunch.
up alcoholics?
Absolutely. 30 years ago. It was different.
Yeah.
But it's not 30 years ago.
That's true.
Be Real TV
But
is
even
what I'm saying.
but
like,
even 15, that's almost 10 years.
that's almost 10 years ago, actually.
So okay, so
Crazy.
a 10-minute discussion or so, and he says, "All right, when? Right now."
Holy shit.
But that's Jay Cures, my nephew, his son, and we said, "Okay." We bumped up to Hollywood, went to Be Real TV Studios. I think it's still in the same spot, and we were interviewed by Adam Ill on Getting High With, and we sat there and we smoked bongs and dabs and blunts and joints and calls were their live stuff coming in, and he started. I believe he started like this. I'm just a stoner and I drive around. I want to be safe. What do I do, guys? And so we just started. We didn't have any of this stuff yet. Other than, don't consent. I mean, we know what we know.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. Basically what we taught our nephew. We talked about that, answered questions. What do I do here? What do I do there? Bang, bang, answering questions. And it was supposed to be like an hour, ended up being 2 hours or something like that.
You guys have definitely worked out a really cool niche for yourself.
We fell ass backwards into it. Don't.
But that's how everybody has to figure it out for themselves and be like, okay, now I know how to do that.
Well, now we're on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I spend a couple days just scouring Instagram. First, I went on my computer, and you couldn't do it on your computer. And I was pissed, because I'm like, oh, great, my phone. And so I start looking, and back then, it was weeds and...
Ultimately, we figured we'd give out tips. It was 15 seconds, and we did, because my son's like, no one gives out free advice.
Okay.
So people have to pay a lawyer to get advice. Here, you guys give my friends advice. We've been giving his friends advice for 20 years already in the weed business. So it was weed-centric type of tips about being in the car, having it smell, what to say, what to do.
Well, we started with a series of 15-second videos.
That broke down the whole thing.
Well, sorry,
I think that's how I initially found you guys, was right around...
It was 2015, and then through 2015 and 2016, we started dialing in the script, right? Because, so we started a series of videos directed to California cannabis patients, and what to do if you're pulled over. And so we did that whole series, which is...
And then it mushroomed state to state to state to nationwide, because we didn't really realize initially we're dealing with the things we tell you to do are mostly your constitutional rights, which apply in every state.
No matter what you're pulled over for or what the fuck's
Nothing,
going
you
on,
have
it
the
doesn't-
Fifth
it doesn't
Amendment,
matter.
you have the Fourth Amendment, you have all those rights, no matter what. So that's when it kind of started mushrooming, because it went from just us giving California people, what do we know on Instagram? Like, okay, it's who's gonna watch, we only know California law, we tell you that's only California law.
Yeah.
But the overlay with the constitutional stuff, right,
and the
is what
cops.
really blew it up, because now it's applicable in any state.
Well, and how the script got
Let
developed.
her ask, she was gonna ask a question.
go ahead.
Don't cut her off, be rude.
Don't cut me off. Be rude. Jeez. How the script started coming about was the questions coming from people in the comments.
Oh.
What do I do? What do I say if this?
So, like, more-
What do I say here or there? And so we're at first it was just invoke the fifth, shut the fuck up. But then we're like, we got to give some kind of dialogue.
Yeah, because
that
people
they
get
can
all
have.
nervous and shit, and it's like at a bar, and someone says, how much do you have to drink? None, come on. Or they say one.
That's what I was
One or
just gonna
two.
ask.
One or
Like,
two.
The script is great.
That's what
and-
happened that's why we came up with, I'm not discussing my day. Because you don't want to
Any
lie and say I had none. If you had some, you
Don't
don't
lie and
want to
say
lie.
two if it's not two.
Don't lie.
You just don't want to lie at
Yeah.
all. So, and
say
there's
nothing.
no reason for you
To lie.
You're not a truth teller moment with the cop. I mean, I'm not discussing my day. You don't have to say anything.
So, like, the script is great in theory, but for somebody like me that, like, panic.
Get out the sticker.
So
What?
okay, hold on. Actually, so I won't forget.
Oh,
I think there's a small and a large
hell
there
yeah! Thank
that
you.
I'd like to give you. And then we got our script rolling papers.
Oh,
Okay, and then now
fuck yeah.
People ask for this.
my favorite is the script sticker. The script sticker.
Oh,
We suggest you put it either on your visor or right where the oil change reminder sticker would go.
Left corner of your windshield.
genius.
So when you get all
Thank you.
nervous, you're not
You're welcome.
tripping.
Genius. I'm on my car.
Yep.
I'm not discussing my day.
Right, because
Just read it.
they try to intimidate. It's already intimidating already.
hard.
And the ones that take advantage of that.
I had to do it once before
Really?
we actually, right before we actually had the script. I think not very long.
We were being developed because we had like 70 words and 65. Wait, tell what happened. Tell it. You don't want to tell it? You wanted to tell it? When he got pulled over for alleged DUI and they wanted him to do the fields right. Wanted to
And you said-
pull right out of the bar.
Right.
He pulled right out of the bar.
I'm telling you, I just learned.
You didn't have to do the field
It was
sobriety
actually right
test.
the fuck down here. Literally, it was right coming out of. Is it Sharks over there? Sharkies or
Where
something?
is Shark- Yeah.
Or something
Okay.
back in there. And it was a horrible date, actually. It was pretty funny. I had a couple drinks during dinner, appetizers, dinner, blah, 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 a couple drinks and water, blah, blah, blah. I get out, I pull out, and I had it in valet, and I pull out in a brand new truck, and I get lit up. And I was like, what the fuck? Why did I pull you over? I don't know. Why'd you pull me over? I don't know what I did. I just pulled out. Like, what did I do? Your lights are off. Fuck, valet. I go, fuck. And this is exactly what I said. Fuck, fucking valet. And I lean forward and I hit my auto lights back on because in valet they took it off auto lights because the lights would be on. So I turned up, fucking valet, and I turn them back on. So, did you ever do any drink tonight? And I go, and I don't recommend anybody do this at all. No. Okay? I said, you saw where I came out of. Like, I had owned a bar years before this. I owned a bar, and they red dog the bar, which means
Yeah.
cops sit on it and wait for people to come out. When I owned a bar years and years ago, I
Yeah,
owned a
they do
dive
that
bar,
all the time.
I would come out looking like a customer and decoy the cops so that our good customers who live in the neighborhood could get home without a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know, where was I?
But they were never impaired.
Correct.
The cop
Pulled you
you
over.
said, am I being detained or am I free to go?
No. He keeps asking me about where I came from, how much I had to drink, what
He
I
said, "I
was
know
doing.
you-
You can
you
tell
saw
me.
where I
You can
came
tell
from."
me. Right. That's about all I said. Then he keeps asking me. You can tell me. I'm just asking. And I said, I finally said, that was fucking the hardest thing I ever had to do. The guy said, I'm not discussing my day. What? I'm just asking you questions, trying to help, blah, 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 blah. And he asked me again. He said he smelled something, which was bullshit. I had a couple vodka soda waters, and then I had a cigarette lit in the car. There's no fucking way he smelled vodka at all. So he asked me again, and I finally said it. I said it. He's standing there. He looks 8 feet tall, and he asked me some other bullshit questions, and I finally said, "Am I being detained or am I free to go?" And he says, "You're being detained. Get out of the car." And I go, "Fuck." So I roll my windows, I get my keys, I lock my doors, I get out of the car, I shut the door, I go stand on the curb, and he's standing there in front of me, and he wants me to do the field sobriety test. And I said, "Sir," and I just learned this not that long before. I'd heard it, but never looked it up. That they're voluntary. They're fucking voluntary. And they're supposed to tell you. How they tell you is, well, you could do these, could help. I mean,
Just want to make sure you're safe.
it's just bullshit, but they're... So anyways, I just learned this. And so he gets me out of the car, asks me to do them, and he's looking at me, and I said... And he starts to put the light in my little eye, the flashlight in my eye too. And I said, "Sir, I'm politely decline these." He's like, "What?" I said, "I politely... These are only going to help us, help you, help. We're just doing our job." And I said, "Sir, I politely decline those." And then his partner comes up and like starts yelling at me about being safe, and they're just doing their job, and we can do these, it'll make it go quicker. And I said, "Sir, I politely decline those." And again I said, "Am I being detained or am I free to go?" And here's your license. Go ahead, get out of here. Go back to Anaheim. And I never even got a ticket for the lights. And it was like the hardest thing I had to do.
It is.
the best.
It's
We
really
really it's
tough,
actually
and they're
giving me PTSD. Other than it really worked out well, and I don't think I would have been near any type of impairment. I really don't think so. But
It doesn't
never
matter.
want to do. You could be
just
sober as fuck, and you're gonna not pass the field sobriety test.
You're just gonna catch a
I've got
charge.
2 cannabis DUIs I'm dealing with in Orange County right now that would have just they would have been gone if they did this.
We want to try them.
What's the biggest? What's the most prominent charge that's being on the cannabis front?
I mean,
DUI.
well, no, I mean we just got 3 alcohol DUI calls the other day. One of them is using cannabis also. But no, the cannabis charges are misdemeanors, and every now and again a felony the DA will do a conspiracy to commit the misdemeanor felony or throw in the drug house felony stuff or whatever. But that's the kind of general, and then a lot of transportation, possession for sales. Stuff like that. And the unlucky people in the black market who get caught.
Yeah.
Because that's a small piece.
Some of them are kind of targeted too, aren't they?
I mean,
Depends how stupid people can be.
Well, here. Well,
That's a whole other show.
a father recently came into our office. His son has an elaborate grow in the basement of his house, and he wants to know what kind of trouble he could get in. So I told him everything: misdemeanors, felonies, this and that, and the other. Da 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 da. Are they going to come? I can't tell you whether or not it's going to happen to you, but I tell you that I think maybe 4 or 5% of the illicit market are people getting busted. That's small. But if something happens to you and you come in and I say, "Well, you're only in the 4 or 5%," you're not going to care. So this is the risk. And you got to decide, do you want to have attorneys here? If you get arrested, you use the bail bond, when you call us, we're getting ready to go to court. If you do everything we said, then, we can help as much as possible.
Man, that sounds pretty nice. Clients that listen.
And we've
We've
had
had some. We've had some.
them able to use
Very
it.
successful.
Say don't talk. Literally less is more. Which
I
is
took
great.
that over into business.
On social media.
I took that over into the corporate bullshit. Don't talk. Don't say anything. Shut the fuck up.
That's why we can say the script, we teach it, and we use it.
Okay, I want to do the script right now. Let's do this.
So now what we're doing is the script challenge.
A script challenge.
That's our game show.
Shut the fuck up Fridays.
We've done, Shut the Fuck Up Fridays at conventions. Great. Okay. So the game starts when I say, I'm the cop, I pull you over. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay. I'm the cop, I pull you over. And I say, what's that smell in your car?
Why did you pull me over?
You didn't use your blinker. How come you didn't use your blinker?
I'm not discussing my day.
I don't care about your day. I want to know about is your blinker broken? Is it a broken blinker?
Can I say it again, or do I do the?
You can do it as many times as you
Oh,
want.
I'm not discussing my day.
I don't want to know about your day. I want to know whether or not you know you have a broken blinker, and I'll just give you a fit. What's that smell?
I'm not discussing my day. This is really fucking hard.
What's the smell, though?
I'm not discussing my day.
I don't care. But guess what?
And then it's up to,
You know what?
It's up with, no. That will not get you arrested. That will not get you arrested. If that gets you arrested,
Good.
We're gonna have a good
We get
case.
a lot of money. Just continually saying that. I mean,
You don't
that's.
know how well I've pissed some cops off with my mouth before.
Well, but did you say these words?
No, this is all polite.
I'm not discussing
And it
my day.
depends how long you want to get badgered for you to say, am I being detained or am I? They have to cut it off. They have to make that decision.
When you ask that, that's the
Up
point
to
of
you.
that is.
You could say it 40 times. Or after 2 or 3, you say
Or one.
because people don't get and that's why when we do these seminars at conventions, we explain the whole theory behind it is that the less you say, they can't do anything to you.
Why are they asking questions?
If they say license and
Give
registration.
it over. Let's go over that.
That's cooperation.
Yeah.
Cooperation is different than talking.
And you have to hand those documents over.
It's required
License,
by your
insurance,
As my hands are
registration.
shaking to the glove box.
If they ask you to get out of the
Why are your
car,
hands shaking?
you have to get out. If they ask you out of the car, you have to get out. Get out.
Okay.
That's what we say.
And then at that point, you've said, I invoke the fifth, and then you shut the fuck up. And the worst that's going to happen is you're going to get
Well, you know what we've had to add? We've had to add
Yes.
it to the whole script is because we've had people ask, what happens if I invoke the fifth and then I talk? Well, you're fucked. You waived that Fifth Amendment right that you just invoked. You waived it. If they keep hammering you after you did your fifth and they keep hammering you and hammering you, you say, I want my lawyer. Once you invoke the sixth, right?
Yeah, that's the sixth.
Once you invoke that, then they have to stop asking questions.
And if they don't and you crack it, we can get it
Then
thrown
that
out.
can get thrown
That's
out.
inadmissible.
But before you ask for that lawyer, so the Miranda doesn't necessarily mean, they can't keep asking you.
We're going to have to do the script 2.0, and how are we going to fit that? That's good. But no, that's true. If they keep going on and on, you just ask for your lawyer, and then you continue to shut the fuck up in the car, on the way to the station, in the station house, getting booked. You shut the fuck up, and then so it depends who you are now, right? Now we have our clients, especially in the cannabis industry, they have somebody who's dedicated to get that call at 2 a.m. to then call the bail bondsman that's ready to go. Same bondsman, Bob Drake bail bonds, same guy I've been working with for 27 years. Has never let one of my clients go to county jail after arrest if they did everything we said.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be done fast, so you can book out right where you're in instead of getting transferred to county, you don't want to. Then it's going to be
Smart
you got
that you
to
can
go through the
escort all
loop
those
and
people,
all
huh?
that stuff. So there are clients I have. They're not business clients, but they're clients that I say, you should probably have somebody that can call. You can call because you can't bail yourself out. But if that's the case and you don't have one, you shut up, you get released, and then you go see an attorney. Bail out, get released, go see an attorney. 855 Wassler.
Have you guys had to bail each other out before?
No.
That's nice.
No.
Stayed out of jail long enough.
Is there a follow-up question?
Why?
Oh, I've nothing.
Oh, if you did, I was just
No,
curious
no,
if you did,
no.
if you had any stories
Well,
about
no,
going
'cause-
to jail, because it sounded
Well,
like.
you didn't ask that.
Oh.
I don't know if he has stories about going to jail. I know that I've never bailed him out.
No, I never had to get bailed out. Never been inside a jail cell.
That's nice.
I've had brushes. I was 16 years old in a temple fucking parking lot getting busted for weed. Me and my buddy and his dad's fucking yellow fucking Camaro that looks just like the one on Transformers. Looked just like that. Yeah, we got caught with weed. And they made us dump it out. And
Did they step on it?
All the people at the event we were there for at this temple, some fucking youth group, where it came out and the cops were there and the lights were on.
You did to our mother.
And they ended up giving us
look at what a change of events.
They given us a warning, and they made me dump some stuff on the ground and push my foot on it, and then they took a little old film can. People didn't even know what fucking film was, a film canister, and they took one of those and they let us go with quote of warning. We're sitting at Denny's and we're sitting there, and I had this jacket shirt hoodie thing that had pockets right here. Kind of weird. It wasn't like regular. It was right here on the side. You couldn't see them. And I'm sitting there and I put my hands in them, and we're all tripping. Now, oh fuck, we could have gone to jail. Like we could have been fucked. And I reach in and I pull out a fucking film canister, and I open it up, and they frisked us. I open it up, and it was just full of weed. It was such a good moment.
Number one advice for anybody considering going to law school.
Don't
Don't do it. Don't do
How
it.
bad do you want to be a workhorse? Now, I take all
You want to
that.
help people? You want to save
I mean,
lives?
Well, there's a lot of different reasons to go to law school. I mean, and my son, not the one everybody sees, the other brother who actually runs the organization.
Absolutely.
He's like he'll be the next Steve Jobs. Just, he's ridiculous. If you want to go into business, I mean, it's great education for thinking and even in analyzing, and it can be a lot of bullshit, but it does help you when you're looking at a contract. Even if you're not a contract attorney, you don't have to specialize in that necessarily. You can still read, and you had enough. Everybody takes contracts, and there's only so much shit that's the general or
I don't have to pay anyone to
basic
look at any of my
things,
agreements ever.
There's basic shit that come on. You've seen one,
That's
you've
true.
seen them all. Duh, it's like it's ridiculous the shit I see still from some of these big firms. But yeah, I would say if you really want to help people, I mean, if you want to make money, be a personal injury attorney and be really good at marketing.
You're on like literally every social media app. Pot Brothers at Law on all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Pot Brothers.
pot_at_brothers_at_law is IG and Snapchat. And then the rest of it is just Pot Brothers.
How is Snapchat? I really need to get on Snapchat. Is that
It's
thing or
great.
no?
It's great. It's great. I educate on there. I say, hey, like
Oh, yeah.
I'll get on later. It's Friday. It's the weekend's coming, and I get people thank you for telling me that. I didn't know that, and I mean, it's just another way to let people know. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
And you will increase your chances of not needing to hire an attorney. And if you have to get an attorney, then you'll have the best defense possible.
Fuck yeah. Shut the fuck up. Pot Brothers, Craig,
At law.
Mark, Pot Brothers at Law.
Otherwise, we're just brothers who smoke pot. Which is
Lots- there's a lot
not
of
a bad thing.
There's a lot of them. And we have a trademark.
But we are
copyrighted.
brothers. We are lawyers and we do smoke pot.
Oh, no, wait, now I'm going to do my slam poem.
Oh yeah, do it. Fuck yeah, I want to
No, I
slam
actually do
poem.
have to go. It's for you.
Thank you.
At the seminars, we do our seminar, the script challenge, and I do the slam poem. And I've done it in places where it's just like, what? I opened for the Alcoholics.
Okay.
You know the group, the Alcoholics?
No.
The Licks?
The Licks?
The Alcoholics. They're a rap group from the 90s. I was just explaining this poem that I wrote centered around your rights and what we teach. Came out of frustration of people and clients who just didn't know their rights, and seeing a lot of innocent people have to go get arrested, get an attorney, get it dismissed, and just that's it. You don't get anything back. If something really egregious happened, you have a civil suit, but that's usually not the case. Because of the things you say and do, you're giving them evidence that they can use. Whether that evidence is right or wrong, that's determined in court. So,
Which can be dicey.
absolutely. No, we just got a lady who got a checkpoint In a checkpoint, it was somewhere no, it was in Riverside. A checkpoint inside a
How are
shopping-
checkpoints still legal?
Because driving is a privilege,
Public,
not a
yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's not transportation, this and that. But arguably, it is unconstitutional. I'm trying to travel. You're in my way. So I'm not discussing my day. And I've talked to people who are like, you right through. People are getting right through. A guy posted on YouTube once at a border check or wherever it was, and he kept yelling, am I being detained or am I free to go? Am I being detained? For like 5 minutes, one guy came and then finally a sergeant came and went, get out of here.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Because, if you have that right, you could have pulled him over. But this lady had a check, took a couple hits of a bowl, runs to the supermarket, didn't get to the supermarket because inside the parking lot of the supermarket there was a checkpoint.
What the fuck?
And so
A checkpoint in a supermarket?
yeah, it was. I've never seen it. It was, but whatever. There it was, and she does everything opposite. Tells him she smoked. I'm fine. She's fine, and she's fine. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem when you know you're fine. Like what? Really? What? And you don't know your rights. Then this is what happens. And do the field sobriety test. You just have to say that. But he goes, you don't have to do this, but if my brother's right, But
if nothing's wrong,
she already said she smoked an hour ago. That which you just shut the fuck up. That's a bad piece of evidence, depending on what potential juror actually hears it in Orange County.
For sure.
So lift your leg up. Point your toe, and as she's doing it, she's going, I really don't have very good balance to begin with. I don't know, and I'm looking at a completely unimpaired, sober person, I'm watching the video go through and stuff, and she's just, and then this, oh, wow. The cop says to her, you smoked an hour ago, don't you know you can't drive after you smoke? It's a video.
Okay, slam poll. Here
All right, this is called, am I being detained or am I free to go? Am I doing it to any?
This camera.
Oh, okay. All right. Am I being detained or am I free to go? This is what to say. My lawyer tells me so. The cops are out there doing a job. Sometimes they must contain a mob, a thankless job that saves many lives at their home or worried children, husbands, and wives. But does that give them the right to stomp on my rights? So we are here for you, the cannabis community, to fight, to let you know it's okay to just shut the fuck up when cops ask questions. You start with, I'm not discussing my day, end with, I invoke the fifth. These ain't suggestions. These are words to live by, to memorize. See, it's not about the size of that cop's gun, because they want you to run. So they could pull that macho gun and shoot you for fleeing the scene. Some cops are just plain mean. We must shut it off, shut it down. Those feelings of anger that instantly come around when we know that cop showing his power and his might is not right. We must remain calm. Keep the devil sleeping on the left shoulder. We must be cold, even colder. Ice must flow through your veins to shut that heat. The blood that rushed your brain straight from your feet when that cop disrespected you, cause you wouldn't tell him what that smell was. And he accuses you of a pot DUI because he absolutely knows that you're buzzed. But see, they can't tell and they don't know. Only if you tell them so. Oh, officer, I smoked a joint a few hours ago. Officer, here's my medical record. Officer, I'm a marijuana patient. We live in America. Prohibition still exists. That cop's going to do whatever he's going to do. 50-50, he arrests you. Give us a chance to represent you with a defense that's blazing. Let us show you in court we're amazing. But we could only do that if you listen to our tips. Now let me see you move your lips. You know the drill. When the cops ask questions, we say, I'm not discussing my day. Am I being detained or am I free to go? I invoke the fifth, and then you
ask for my
shut the fuck up. That's the first time that's ever happened. Then you shut the fuck up. It's all about what you say and what you do. We have given you the script. We are telling you what to say. We are telling you what to do. We've put your hands up in protection mode. But should you take a shot to the jaw, we will be here fighting for the cannabis community and all citizens because we are the Pot Brothers at Law.
Yeah, I got the juice like a snow cone. Ice in my veins and a cold